Good evening, everyone. My name is Rakesh Rai. I've been associated with Hit Bullseye for over 21 years. I handle sales, marketing, and corporate relations. My job also requires handling students' queries and counseling them. Um, we gradually guide them to get into their top colleges. We have a team which guides students, handholds them, and then we support them in every way. With me, I have our distinguished guest today from one of the premier institutions in India, that is Nirma. I know is that I know him since last 15 years, and since 30 years he has been into academics, and he has what he has done to this academia in the country is something which is phenomenal, and I truly appreciate. And at Hit Bullseye team also, we all wonder how he wonderful his journey has been. So, sir. I would like to ask you that if you can give a quick intro or maybe a thought on what exactly you are up to right now these days.
Okay, so I joined Nirma in University, the Institute of Management on 1st of July 2024, and right now I am heading the business school, the Institute of Management, and after I joined, there has been quite a few targets, you can say, or a mission to be accomplished as I could see it. And we are clearly planning to move from a also run traditional management institution to an institution that makes a difference, not only to the institute as such, but also to the students, to the alumni, to the larger audience as a whole. So in that respect, the kind of activities that I have tried to think, and in this kind of an institution, one thing which is very important is you should not try to do anything without getting the buy-in of all stakeholders. So for me, the stakeholders are very clear. Number one is, of course, the students. Number two is the faculty and staff. Number three is the alumni. Number four is the university, because we belong to a university setup. And number five are the recruiters. So these are all the stakeholders, and we cannot say that this aspect is more important than that. Of course, students is the most important, but other than the students, everybody is equally important. You cannot say that alumni is more important than recruiters, or university system is more important than alumni or other stakeholders. Each of them are doing their own job, own duty. So keeping everybody in the loop, taking everybody together, we want to incorporate certain changes. And it is really, God's grace, you can say, that we are all in line, and all the stakeholders think that we need to think differently, we need to do things differently, else we cannot create a brand for the future. So a few things that we have thought and we would like to implement is gradually moving away from the traditional teaching mode in the classroom. So one thing that we are planning is how can we enhance the non-classroom learning, because at the end of the day, most students, they learn more outside the classroom than within the classroom. Within the classroom, their body is there, but their mind is somewhere else. So who cares to listen at all the lectures? Being a professor, I'm saying this, just imagine. So today's students learn more when they are when there is an activity, when there is a role play, when there is a group discussion, when there is a presentation, and so on. Then when they make a presentation and you give them feedback, they learn more, rather than you directly telling in the class. Then it's like they hear it, but they don't internalize it. It doesn't go within. It just evaporates, because you can't blame them, because there are so many courses going simultaneously. So suppose if I teach, say, a course on quantitative methods, and then in the next trimester I have a course on business research methods, which will require intensive knowledge depth of quantitative methods, and because of which the course is taught prior to business research methods. Then when I come to business research methods and I talk about multivariate techniques and all of that, they have conveniently forgotten what are the different kinds of distributions. They have conveniently forgotten the difference between a continuous distribution or a discrete distribution. They have conveniently forgotten all the t-test and the chi-square test and z and all. They have forgotten ANOVA. So then sometimes you question, what was the use of doing all that? But today's teaching methodology is different, and that is something that we are planning to, or we are actually we have all agreed and we have started implementing, is hands-on. So a QM class today, statistics class today, is not a lecture. It is I do and you do along with me. So there is a problem. I don't start the class, or we faculty, we don't start the class with a theory. We start directly with the problem and let the students learn in the process. Another thing that we have planned to do differently is, we are not teaching, or we are not trying to discuss the theories in the class. We are saying, thank God this is a residential institution, so students can study among themselves in groups, midnight, post midnight, till morning, whatever, it's fine. But they have to study the basics and then come to the class. In the class, I am not going to teach what are the ingredients of a balance sheet. I will not start with these are called the assets, these are fixed assets, these are current assets, this is liability, this is this. We are not going to discuss all of that. That is something you have to study and count. Now, if you read the book, for example, you are a MBBS doctor who have come and joined a MBA program. Obviously, you have no background of accounts. So in that kind of a case, you will have to take help from others. So one of your students, one of your classmates, batchmates will be teaching you accounts. Similarly, the CA who is teaching a doctor, an engineer will be teaching optimization techniques to other group members. Like that, it is like a symbiotic relationship in the groups. And this is when they learn more, because see, to a professor, many a times you have your own boundaries. You can't ask questions the way you want to. But among yourselves, among students, it is easy. You can just say, look, whatever you're saying doesn't make any sense to me. Make it simpler. But to a faculty, sometimes it is difficult to say. Or with a faculty, it is difficult to argue. But with a friend, you can use your own language and argue till the cows come back home. So we are saying, do that in the hostel, do that in the canteen, do that wherever you can. But when you come to the class, we are not going to discuss the basics of a balance sheet. We will start our class with a balance sheet, sample balance sheet of a company, and then we are going to ask you questions. Do you think that there is a liquidity issue in this company? Do you think that you will invest in this company? If you want to invest, why will you invest? If you don't want to invest, why will you not? Can you guess anything about what could be the rough valuation of this company? Right. Seeing the balance sheet, can you tell me whether this company belongs to a manufacturing sector or a service sector or a consulting company? What kind of a company do you think this company is? A balance sheet of a bank will look very different than a balance sheet of an iron and steel company. Right. So these are the things discussions that will happen in the class, and that takes discussions, learning to a different level. Now, if we in the class, if we end up teaching what is a fixed asset and what is a variable asset and what is the current asset, and no fun.
There will not be any difference between doing that BA, BCom or MBA.
Absolutely. Right? Absolutely. So we are trying to bring that in the class, and apart from there, that which many business schools are also into, we have a lot of committees. We have close to 28 committees, and each.
This was my next question, sir. I wanted to understand what exactly are the other different things which Nirma University is doing, because we understand that everything is changing. The environment, the market, the education sector is changing. How Nirma University is adapting to those changes, and what exactly are you doing? So, sorry to cut me down. You can carry on. So
yeah. Very good. So this only says that both of us are aligned. Yeah. So yes. And I myself also, I'm a strong believer of non-classroom learning, and when I was, I mean, we know each other for a long time. When I was at SPJN, I was heading the annual cultural fest for close to 12 years. And I've always seen the convener of the cultural fest was getting one of the best jobs. And if you look at his grades are never B plus also. Forget about A plus, A, B plus. It is always B or B minus. Okay. And yet he ends up getting one of the best jobs. How does that happen? That happens because this guy has learned the way to communicate. This guy has learned the way to negotiate with people. This guy has learned the way how to handle situations which are otherwise very tensed. This guy has learned how to get work done without power, without influence. So these are practical hands-on training. So we have here at Nirma, we have close to 28 clubs and committees. And I'm trying to empower these clubs and committees with the help of my faculty, of course. And we have prepared JDs, job description of each and every committee. So at the end of the year, the first year, each and every committee will make a presentation in front of a bunch of faculty, bunch of alumni and external stakeholders who will evaluate what they have done throughout the year. And they'll give their feedback. So where they went wrong, what they could have done better. And this is totally application based. This is not about what they studied in the books at all. Okay. So like, for example, last week we had our international conference. So there was close to 50 plus students who were actively day in and day out working to make the conference a success. But they were not the face of the conference. They were all walking at the backdrop. Nobody could see them working, but they were the main architects of the conference, these students. So they are like, they are doing everything yet not visible, but that's a different matter. But then if you ask them what was your learning, the learning was immense. I mean, even accompanying, say for example, our chief guest was Dean of UC Davis, University of California, Davis. This particular person, his name is H. Rao Nava. He was nominated as the best Dean of the year last year. And just like the Kumbh Mela, he was appointed as the Dean of the Year after 12 years as an Indian. Last, it was in 2012, Nitin Noria of Harvard Business School became the Dean of the Year. And now after 12 years, we have another Indian, just like the Kumbh Mela. Okay, so he is kind of a celebrity. And if the students get some time to take him from the airport, spend time with him and talking to him, just imagine what kind of exposure they get. So these are the subtle learning, tacit knowledge that passes on to the students beyond the classroom. Similarly, we are having sessions with alumni all the time. Every week we'll have some alumni on the campus or the other. They interact. And we as faculty and staff, we try to abstain ourselves. We don't enter into it. Let them do whatever they want to do together. And they have a candid heart-to-heart conversation and so on. This was another part. Next, we have introduced simulations, real life scenarios in the class, and we divide the batch into small groups of 4 students or 3 students, and each group is actually kind of a company, and each company is fighting against each other just like a competitive market, where you have issues related to marketing, issues related to finance, HR, operations, everything together, analytics, everything together. So it is not the textbook learning, because no textbook you will find has all the subjects together just like you have in real life. In real life, all problems come together. No, in real life, you will never see that a marketing problem has come, so you need to refer to marketing. The marketing problem is associated with finance. The finance problem is related to HR. The HR problem is related to supply chain. It is all hodgepodge all the time. So simulations is a great platform for students to learn, and we facilitate these kind of things. So these are some of the things that we are trying to do differently, just to make them future ready.
Right. So, sir, if you can throw light, because Nirma University is again a very strong brand, and anybody who is aspiring to get into any kind of MBA, they see Nirma University as one option that is available in Ahmedabad. Now, Ahmedabad being a city where lots of other universities are available, and in West we have already seen that lots of prominent colleges, institutions are there. I would like to understand like what exactly Nirma University has done until now, which gives the brand name this credibility.
So I think it's very difficult to answer this question, but of course, one thing which is there is the sustainability issue, the sheer presence of the institute for close to 3 decades makes a difference. And if you talk about other business schools in Gujarat or in this part of the country, um, and I can take names, no hard feelings there. Mica is associated with more of marketing, media, and all of that. So it has a specific focus, which is very good. I mean, I appreciate that. Uh, we are general. Ahmedabad is too high the ladder. It's like the best in the country, kind of. Okay, so these are the three which are there in this part of the country. And if somebody is looking at a generic general management career, leadership role, managerial role, a role in finance, a role in business analytics, a role in operations, and so on, across domains, then perhaps the name of Nirma comes first there. Okay. And also another very important part is we have grown over the years. We have consistently being ranked in NIRF in a respectable position. Then we have moved from just being an institute, the way we started. Now, since 2003, we are part of an university, which is a very stable structure. And it falls under the MBA category and so on. We have excellent international partnerships and immersion programs. Also, from this year, we have started a wonderful immersion program with Michigan State University, also our partner from this year itself. And overall salary is also more or less stable across the years. Though my target now is to take the salary levels to 20 lakhs bracket in the next 1 or 2 years. That is one of my major targets. But over the years, it has done well. This year, we have completed more than half of our placements, and our average salary right now, touch wood, is running close to 13.5 lakhs. It can even increase once the whole recruitment process is over. We are an institution that do not recruit students from any kind of a channel. We are mostly a CAT driven institute,
Right.
so we generally recruit students from CAT, and we are not a number hungry institution. For us, quality is very, very important. Even if the numbers are less, we don't care about it much. For us, quality comes first, and we believe that quality will lead to revenue, and revenue will lead to profit, instead of starting with revenue.
Right.
So we don't believe in a revenue model to start with. We believe in a quality model to start with, and we believe quality will create the revenue and revenue will create the profit there. So these are certain issues, and of course we have a bunch of faculty who are there with us. I mean, we have been very lucky. Divine has been very kind. Since the first day of the institute, these faculty have been there with us, and they have grown along with the institute for the last 25 years or more. So we have very, very experienced faculty, domain specific faculty, alumni. Some of our alumni are CEOs, nationally, internationally also. So they are very well connected, and they want to contribute in whatever way they can. Last few months, I had 2 or 3 alumni meets also in Delhi and Bombay and so on. So the response overall has been extremely good.
Right. I can imagine, sir. So we spoke about what exactly is happening at the core of Nirma University and how you are impacting the things so that students improve and the real value addition happens. I would like to understand, sir, if you can throw light on because I have visited your campus 3 or 4 times in the past, and I really appreciate the greenery, the state-of-the-art infrastructure. Could you highlight some of the facilities that make learning and living at Nirma
Yeah,
University?
before I come to that, let me tell you one of my old experience. One of my earlier boss, long time back, when I was at ISB, he used to always ask me, post lunch, can we go for a walk together? And I was like, in this heat, Hyderabad, and in summers, going for a walk is not an easy thing to do. But he would prefer to go for a walk. Uh, of course, the campus was also lovely and so on. But then, after going for that walk for a few days, I suddenly realized that it was when you are relaxed in your mind, lot of innovative ideas and thoughts emerge in your mind. If you are stressed, if you are in a typical box like structure, you might find it difficult to be innovative and creative.
Right.
So that is exactly applicable for Nirma. This is one of the best campuses I have ever visited.
True.
Okay, forget if you keep aside some of the IIMs and some of the institutes which are having large campuses, barring a few, Nirma is one of the best that way. And the infrastructure, the greenery, I mean, just the places where you can just sit and meditate. Forget about doing anything. If you want to meditate, also nobody is there to even disturb you. And lush green, and it is maintained so well. It is kind of a ideal platform to think innovatively, create something new, and go within yourself deep and even discover who you are. So that helps a lot, and especially when you are fighting with moving from one group work assignment to be submitted now after one or another and so on. When you're grappling with things, this kind of a green atmosphere is not only soothing to the eyes, but it gives your brain a big relief. So it helps. And of course, because students stay in the hostel, it also gives a good opportunity to interact with fellow classmates and all and everybody whenever they want to. So that also helps a lot in brainstorming. If they have a thought, they can immediately go to somebody or just call for a meeting, and 5 or 10 of them can sit together in the canteen or somewhere and just chat that, look, I have this kind of an idea how to take it forward. This is an atmosphere environment that can not only change a human being, but also mold mold people. you know People come from different background. There'll be somebody coming from Mumbai and Delhi who are extremely smart and so on, and there could be somebody coming from remote some village who never got that kind of an opportunity. you know
Right.
so uh, so there's a lot of tacit learning, tacit knowledge that gets transferred from one to another, because they keep on observing how is he talking, how what is his accent, and some words I'm pronouncing wrong. They learn very fast, and this happens because of the environment, because students feel like being in the nature. They spend a lot of time in the nature, and that helps them to learn from each other better and become better human beings.
Thank you so much, sir. Very, very not only sensible, but it was very deep. And I really like the idea that student can actually meditate in the campus itself.
Yeah. In fact, first time when I visited the campus, when I came before I joined, I just thought this is the place I should join. And it is such a lovely campus. And sometimes, especially in the morning, the silence of the morning is something incredible.
Mm. All right. So, Dr. Malik, finally, so we spoke about what exactly is your vision for how what Nirma University is doing, and how students can benefit from the campus and the entire idea. I would like to understand if you can throw light on some, because this is the time wherein students are actually they feel a lot of pressure. They feel they've already taken certain most of the exams are done, and the scores are out. They are applying to lots of colleges, and now they are receiving calls from different colleges. What is your suggestion to the students? What they should not do and what exactly they should be focusing on for next couple of months?
Yeah, so one thing which is very important is to be clear what they want in life. And if I talk about that, what is the track they want to select? So, for example, I've seen students of medical students, law students, uh, or technology students, or plain graduate, commerce students. Everybody takes up MBA, and there's MBA is such a structure that doesn't differentiate. All the subjects that are taught from scratch. At least we do it that way. So it is very important for you to at least think 5 years down the line, where do I want to reach? As of now, as of today. You may change your plan eventually. That is a different matter. But today at least you should have some clarity. So for that, what I would advise to most students is just take up one course from Coursera or some other place from each of the fields. Take one short course on, say, business analytics. Take one short course on marketing. Take one short course on finance and accounting. Take one short course on supply chain management. Just to get an idea what these subjects are, what they're talking about, where do my interests lie. Once you take these courses, if you take all the 5 courses together from Coursera, you might require 2 weeks to complete. Okay.
Right.
What is the benefit? The benefit is when you appear in front of an interview panel and when you say that your interest is XYZ, people will ask you the question, why this and why not that? So then you will not only yourself know, you can also prove to somebody else why you have decided this way. Everybody wants students who are having a clarity of thought. Nobody wants students who are cluttered in their mind, not really sure what they want to do in life. Okay, you might change tracks, that is different. But then at this point in time, what you want is most important. Then whether you are changing, you are not sticking to what you said, that is a different matter. So that is the first thing I would advise all students, to take up one short course in each of the domain from Coursera and get a clue what these things are. Reading a book would be very difficult. Reading a book is not required. Taking a short course is easy. Okay, that is first. Second thing is, when you face interviews, each of these good institutions, they will interview you. Okay, it could be group interview like we have in SP Gen, it is group interview, and most institutes take individual interviews of students. Okay, in these interviews, don't go by what, I'm sorry for this, but don't go by what you are taught to say.
Right.
Never wear a mask. Be what you are. Speak what you stand for. Like now when I'm talking to you, I did not prepare for the interview. Why? Because I am not required to prepare. I can just speak from my heart.
Right.
And that is what makes an interview lively.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
so that is also very important for students. When they ask, what do your father do, what your mother does, and what do you do? And we often find students using a very flowery language and this and that. We immediately understand this is not, somebody has taught this guy what to say.
Right.
So nobody wants people wearing a mask.
Right.
The person who is interviewing may be wearing a mask. That is a different matter altogether. But they will not want you to wear a mask if you are an interviewee. Okay, so
Because
that is very important.
it's going to be something wherein relationship is going to last for 2 years.
Yes.
It should be natural. It should be not complicated. So very, very wise advisor. In fact, the first one was one of the finest advice I have ever heard of. That join a practical course, online short-term course, and then try to find out like what is your cup of tea, and then get interviewed, and then choose a college. Very, very fine.
And then the third and the last point, which is very important, is in an interview, not only the MBA interview, but in any interview, the interview may ask you a question. Okay, so for example, if I ask a student, have you read the book written by David Hawkins on map of consciousness? So, yeah, I have heard of that book, but I don't remember. You don't need to lie. If you have not read, it is okay to say I have not read it. Or if somebody asks you what is the difference between a conscious mind and a subconscious mind, and if you say I don't know, no heaven is going to fall. People actually appreciate who are truthful. And we are all intelligent enough to understand whether the interviewee knows or doesn't know the answer. So it is always good to say, I don't know, if you don't know. You know, and you should be bold enough, courageous enough to say, I don't know, instead of beating around the bush. So these are the 3 tips I had.
Thank you so much, sir. These 3 tips are like, it covers all the horizon of the entire stuff. Now, and obviously all the students understand it because we have already launched our GDPI classes also, so they can join us, and we have finest of finest counselors also who guide students to get into some good college. We do hand holding also. I think this is the time to
your counselors also, I would strongly suggest that they should always tell the student, we are facilitators of your interviews.
Right.
Okay, don't do exactly what we say. You have to use your own brain, your own mind to answer. Yes. We are just helping you. So a trainer of swimming will not, I mean, you can't imitate somebody swimming. You learn how to swim and you swim on your own, right?
Definitely, sir. Since last 25 years, we have been doing this, and I'm very sure that our trainers must be aware of this, and definitely pass on this message also. Thank you so much.